Hello! So today's review is going to be on Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is by far one of the best books that I've read this entire year of 2012, because technically now it's not that year anymore. This is by far one of the best books that I read of 2012, and I have been waiting and waiting and waiting to review this for you guys. I'm gonna have to work really hard to keep this short because it is one of those books that I could probably talk about forever, so I need to be careful. So let's get into it. Wade Watts is an 18-year-old boy who lives in the year 2044, where the world is basically gross and ugly and blah, and the environment has gone to shit, and resources are scarce, and everybody lives in poverty. Everyone is just like, eh. So this guy, James Halliday, created a virtual reality called Oasis, and basically everybody is plugged into it. You get these haptic gloves which allow you to like control what you're doing, and you get a little goggle visor, forgot what it's called in the book, but you get a little mask goggle thingy that you put on your face so that you can see into the interface of Oasis. And basically it's just a virtual reality where people can play games, they can travel to different worlds, they can visit places that they would never be able to visit in the real life, they can go to school, etc, etc. So Wade Watts is this 18-year-old kid who lives in poverty basically, and the Oasis is his only escape, and he spends his time trying to find the clues to this puzzle that the creator of the Oasis made. When the creator died, he basically put out a video that said, hey, there are 3 keys that I've hidden, and they open 3 gates in the Oasis, and the first people to find all 6 of those, 3 of those, however you want to put it, first person to solve the puzzle will basically win my fortune and win control of the Oasis. So everybody after this guy has died, everybody's searching and trying to solve this puzzle, and nobody has been able to do it. It's been 5 years since that, and Wade Watts is the first person to find the first clue and basically reignites this whole search for James Halliday's fortune. However, now that Wade Watts has become sort of this famous kid, or avatar I guess, because nobody really knows who he is in real life, they just know his character on the Oasis. Now that he's found it, all these other people are trying to blackmail him and take advantage of him and try and get him to reveal the secrets and stuff like that. So he has to be very, very careful. He has to basically, I have said basically so many times in this video, he has to either give up or be really, really fast in finding the rest of the clues, because almost said it. Because once the key has been found, everybody who knows where the key is can get a copy. So it's not like the first person to get the key is the first person who gets the key. I can get a key, you can get a key, we can all get keys, thank you Oprah. So Wade Watts has to hurry his ass up and find the rest of the clues before somebody kills him. Now into the characters. Wade Watts is 18, he is poor and he is orphaned, both of his parents are gone. I don't believe that he ever knew his father personally, but his mother died years ago, and he was left to live with his aunt at the top of a stack of trailers, which is the new slum, I guess, and his aunt basically only takes care of him because she gets money from the government to do so, and it's one of those typical situations where she basically takes the money for herself and completely rejects him, and he is a loser and has nothing except the computers that he has scavenged and built himself. He's extremely knowledgeable in all of the things that James Halliday, the creator of the Oasis, was a fan of, which is mostly the 80s games, 80s movies, 80s musics, 80s TV shows, etc. All of the Gunters, which is what the book calls these hunters for James Halliday's fortune. The Gunters all know all of this kind of stuff, but Wade Watts is especially good at kind of digging in deeper than he would think, than other people would think to do. Artemis is a female avatar in the Oasis world who is known for one of her blogs. She's a very well-known Gunter of sorts, and Wade Watts kind of has a little crush on her. H is Wade's best friend in and out of Oasis because he's the only person that Wade really knows. He doesn't know him in person. H also runs a little chat room which Wade is a member of, and he can go in and out through the Oasis, obviously, and they basically just play games against each other and chill because they do. Daito and Shoto are Japanese brothers on the Oasis who work together, which is a little bit unusual for Gunters to do, in order to find the fortune. And finally, James Halliday is the creator of the Oasis. So the writing style in this was, I think, what I liked the most about the book. It was completely packed with technological jargon and video game jargon and stuff that, like, used words like noob and pwned and hacked and hacksaws and stuff like that, and it was really, really fun to see that, because that's something that, at least in my life, is such a normal thing to see, especially because my brother basically speaks like that on a daily basis, and anyone else that I know who's a gamer, that's such a normal thing to me. But there are people out there who don't game, and older people who didn't grow up in this generation where those words are kind of almost a normal thing. Not quite, but almost. So it was just fun to see that in an actual book, as opposed to just feeling like nobody knows what those things mean. It was kind of fun to see. It was really easy to follow. There wasn't anything, even with all the technological jargon, it was pretty easy for even someone who doesn't know what those words mean to catch on really fast. He was really good at explaining things, and when he had to explain an old 80s game, he did that really well. I was really able to grasp onto whatever idea it was that he was trying to put out there, especially with the Oasis. There were so many things and aspects to that he had to invent and put in there and explain in a way that everyone could understand it, and he did that really, really well. Basically, I freaking loved the book. I freaking loved it. It was exactly what I've been craving for the past year, ever since I got into actually creating video games. It is exactly what I wanted. I didn't realize that I had been so desperate for video game stuff until I read this book, and it was like, oh, the feels. It wasn't a very emotional, well, actually, no, that's not true. It is a pretty emotional book, because Wade Watts, he's not a manly man, and he doesn't try to be, so it was nice to see the emotion. So it definitely did have emotion in there. It was just a different kind than the books that I usually read. It was so good. I'm so in love with this book. Oh, I can't even, blah. I think that the people who like video games or even just technological stuff would really, really enjoy this book. And I think that people who aren't necessarily fans of that but aren't against it would also really enjoy it, because it's a good story on its own. But the reason I think why I like it so much isn't necessarily the story, it's the way that he's put it together and all these little individual aspects that just come together to make this epic, awesome video game story. The cover, really quickly, this isn't the cover that I originally wanted to get, but now that I've read the story, and I think I said this in the haul, if I didn't then I thought it, but I was looking at it and thinking, well, this has nothing to do with what it says on the back, so I wonder how this relates, and if it does, then that's cool, and if it doesn't, then what? But it definitely does relate. I also really, really appreciate the fact that even though they put Wade Watts in there, I mean, who else is that going to be but Wade Watts? Even though they put him in there, they don't show you his face. And this is an issue that I have with a lot of young adult covers, is that they like to put big, beautiful pictures of girls and boys on there, and girls and boys together, and the characters, and it's like with movies, it kind of takes away my imagination and just basically says, this is what the character looks like, and that's it. This is just what they look like. I like to imagine their face judging on what the author has written and what my brain kind of puts together. And when they put the faces on the covers, I can't do that, and it pisses me off, so I'm really glad that they didn't do that with this, that he didn't do that with this. And it's a good size, and again, with the paperbacks, it's a perfect paperback for me. I freaking love it. That's basically all I wanted to say about this book, just that I recommend it to everybody, as I usually do with books that I really like. I thought it was so good, and I can't wait to read it again, and I almost choked on my own spit. And because I would definitely read it again, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5, and I hope that you guys pick it up and read it, because it is fan-fucking-tastic. It is so good. So, yes. I'm gonna go now, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. I just scraped my chin. I'm not clumsy today. It's fine. I'm gonna edit all these mistakes out. Okay. Bye.